All the time in the TF2 community, we have these threads pop up. It's like, who is the best player or whatever at these classes? People are always obsessed with who's the best, who's the best, who's the best. And a lot of people will say my name, but then there's always like a subtext to it. But I hate his guts, you know, something like that.
Banny was able to do whatever he wanted. He could walk around the map and just kill everything he wanted. He was the best player, or in the best team for a long time. It gives you an ego.
Oh my God, it's Banny, you know, he's insane, what's up? Pipe Jesus.
He was one of the best players in North America.
Even if you don't like him, you have to respect him. And as much as it might be painful for some people to say that, and even sometimes myself, you have to respect what he represents.
So I actually started FPS gaming at 9 years old, and my first games were Serious Sam and Unreal Tournament. I progressed into later versions of Unreal Tournament, then eventually into COD, COD 1, COD 2, COD 4. In middle school, I was like really going crazy, like 10 hours a day playing Call of Duty and stuff. And I decided to quit, and I would give up the whole competitive thing. So I went to TF2. And we can all see how that worked out.
Banny was actually one of my favorite players when I got into TF2 because he was the best back then. And I don't know, I loved watching him play.
And then I think I first saw Banny when I went to an ESA LAN. And I believe at the time he was playing for Amazing Gaming with Tyrone. And Banny was just this kind of like quiet, shy dude on the side that was making big plays, you know. And you know, Tyrone was the team leader. Tyrone was setting the pace and everything of that squad.
Well, at the time, you know, Banny was super young. Like, we started as an open team, like an amateur team, kind of worked our way up. And I think our first season together, we ended up winning open, which was like huge at the time. Like, whoa, like we just never saw it coming.
That team lasted for like 8 seasons. We became one of the teams to beat. But then once he started losing interest in the game, I started edging him out, you know, because I cared more. So I would start being more vocal. I would start making the strats. I would start overruling his calls, you know, things like that. And that was kind of when we went our separate ways.
My thought at the time was like, hey, we're really good. We're having a lot of fun together. Let's keep doing it. And if we start losing, who cares, you know? And I was really upset that how close we were for 3 years and everything. Like, our bond wasn't stronger than his will to win.
There was a very scathing article written on ESA News by a guy named DJC. He went down every route possible to just tarnish my name and my reputation.
You know what, to be honest, I feel like that probably has to do a great deal with Dear John DJC was very close to our network of my group of friends. And to be honest, I didn't realize the magnitude of it all.
A lot of people, you know, they set out to win and they win and then they're done. But I set out to win forever, I guess.
Everyone thought that he was just some super all-star demo man that, you know, no one could really stand up to. But, you know, now he's playing scout. Now he can play soldier. Now he can really play whatever he wants and play it to near perfection. He plays it so well.
FurrierTech was one of Shade's big theatrical ideas, was to create the ultimate super team for the next international LAN, which was I-52 that was coming up. We picked up Lansky again, who I had played with before. A lot of it was my fault. The truth is that I let my girlfriend decide some things at the time. You know, that relationship being so toxic was actually very important, I think, to my development.
Going back to GXL 2014, Banny was actually dating a girl named Lauren.
I just keep noticing that Lauren and Clockwork are hanging out quite a bit. It took me a little bit longer to figure out that Lauren was no longer with Banny and had moved on to Clockwork. But I think that's very telling of Banny, you know, that he would approach that situation where he did move down to LA to date Lauren, and that if she were to then move on to his teammate, that he wouldn't make it an issue in the team.
So at that event, Lauren and I were just hanging out a lot. But I think he's basically swept that under the rug. Ironically, during that event, he separated what was happening in real life and TF2 very well. Our communication in game was not any different.
He doesn't cut Clockwork, and I think that's because even with all of that drama aside, Banny always just wants to win so bad no matter what. So Banny just stuck through with kind of the awkward scenario that they were put in just because Banny wanted to win so much.
When I was in that relationship, I lost almost all of my self-confidence because every move that I made was being scrutinized. I lost the sense that I could make good decisions, that I could control things and things would work out. And that was the worst feeling I've ever had. And when that ended, I vowed I would never, ever let myself feel that way ever again. So from now on, I don't care about other people's emotions as much. I do what's right, and I will stand up for myself.
I'm not really sure how they really feel about each other. I think Banny is the type of person that easily forgives people, but at the same time, he's not afraid to just keep shitting on them. But I think Clockwork is a little bit more emotional, and I think he does hold a little bit of a grudge, the way, just how Banny treats certain players.
After Lansky left, we picked up a guy named Ash. He's a really good player. He has amazing aim and DM, but he's just a really difficult teammate to work with for me.
From the start, I knew like if anything was going to go wrong, it was going to be like a catastrophic event. I think it all culminated. We were on Sunshine, the playoffs, and the whole time we were like trying to set up these plays of like suiciding out to the point to switch. Carter just kept getting picked. Like Ash just got picked over and over again, and like Shade and Banny, I remember specifically, got like really like annoyed, and they got into like a little like, I think Carter said he was going to mute Banny, and then like Banny just kind of cut him on the spot.
I saw him as like excluding himself. So I was like, if you're gonna do that, then we're gonna get you off the roster. You're not playing anymore. Mid-match, Ash was removed, and he went and gave a quick interview with TeamFortressTV, and they put up an article.
If he could have just put their differences aside, we definitely would have won, because Ash is an amazing player, and you know there was no problem with the team performance. But it just really goes to show, like, that's just his personality now. Like Banny, just no bullshit.
Shortly after we lost, I had everybody on the team just stay in our mumble, and we just went down the line. I was like, all right, who wants to commit for next season? And literally every player's like, no, 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 no. There was just me left, and I decided that I wasn't gonna quit. I wasn't happy with the third place finish. I was going to rebuild from the ground up. I had mostly been out of the public eye. Only after I-52 did I start streaming, and I think actually that's when it really started.
So the first time he ever streamed, he didn't really keep up with it. You know, it was just a bunch of TF2 players. I did the same thing. We just heard about Twitch, and we were like, oh, let's just try streaming. Banny got like the most. Like Banny's stream was like hype in the community. Everyone was like, oh my God, Banny's stream. He had like 500 viewers. But like now, since it's like his job to just be a streamer, I think like the way it is, the way I look at it, is that he really has like, his stream is like a bubble of his own viewpoints. So really it's just like an echo chamber of just positive reinforcements.
So he can say something that's maybe wrong to a lot of people, but in the environment he puts himself in, they will all agree with him basically. It's the same for any streamer.
It's kind of like he's so exposed to the scene, like people feel like they know him so well, when I personally feel he doesn't do a great job of projecting himself onto the community. I think he is a good person. I just don't think he's good at showcasing the parts of his personality that are the brightest.
He's doing something to make a lot of people just not like him that much. And I really, it's a feat, because like to be the face of a game and to have just the majority dislike you as opposed to like you is just...
God, this pisses me off sometimes. Banny really gives a shit about even some of the most dumb shit that doesn't have any value. Like I remember one time I was playing a pug with Banny, just 12 random invite players just laid on like a Friday night or something, just like, hey, you know, we'll just play some TF2 and some organized pickup game. And Banny, I remember, he cared so much about winning this pickup game, and there was nothing on the line, and there never is. And I'm like, I remember him like begging and pleading for me like not to die on a certain push, and I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, this is just a pickup game. Like, I'm just here to like enjoy, you know, myself on a Friday night. But that's Banny. Just like he cares so much about getting better all the time. And that work ethic would be so valued in a game like Overwatch, where teams are practicing like 8 to 10 hours a day. And he probably could be on a pretty damn good team.
I'm not really sure what caused him to not do it, because I would have teamed with him. Because I think he's a smart player, and I actually think the way he plays TF2, it kind of goes in line with how you play Overwatch.
Banny's future is TF2's future, basically. That's why I said before, he needs TF2 to continue to grow for his career and his income, and the future for TF2 is it's turbulent. It's never like click up. We never know exactly where it's going to go. It could get better, it could die tomorrow. Like, it's that kind of a scene.
I think people probably think that I'm trying to take like a moral high ground and try to make them feel guilty and all that. Maybe in a way I am. TF2 players in Overwatch, they go straight to the top. I have even more experience and accomplishments than any of them. So I could almost certainly do it, and I could be a king in Overwatch. But I just have chosen not to, for the time being at least. If someday that happens, I'll be very explicit about it. I'm selling out. It is what it is. The way I see it is I'm happy playing TF2, and I know that Val hasn't given up, so if I love TF2, I'm just gonna see it to the end.